Howdy there, y'all. Welcome back to another devlog. I spent the last month and a half hard at work, focusing on player feel, new abilities, story development, enemies, and a bunch more. So without further ado, let's jump right into what I added into my first-person, fast-paced parkour game, COASTLINE. The first major update is the player itself. The player character has received minor and substantial changes that bring about a more engaging and fun gameplay loop. So to start, the player's original dash mechanic has been completely scrapped for two new abilities. The first ability being the leap. Upon pressing the left mouse button, you will do a sort of hop in any three-dimensional direction you're pointing. Up, down, left, or right, wherever you're pointing. To add a bit of extra crazy to this ability, it also transfers the player's current momentum to the direction you're facing. So if you've really sped up and need to get around a tight corner, you can leap at the right time and get around that corner while keeping all of your momentum you've built up. The next ability is the dash. I'm really excited about this one. Upon holding the right mouse button, you will begin to build up energy as indicated by the bar in the middle. While in this charging state, you will experience less gravity, giving you more time to perfectly calculate where you want to dash. After a short time, or by letting go of the right mouse button, you will go flying in the horizontal direction you are facing. You can let go of this charge at any time, but you will only go as far with the dash for as long as you're holding it. Meaning just tapping the right mouse button will send you a little bit, but by really charging it up and letting it go, you will go flying. After your dash has completed, it will be on a short cooldown as indicated by the bar in the middle of the screen. The cooldown is short, but prevents you from spamming this ability over and over again. To make the dash move even crazier, after dashing, it also recharges your leap ability from earlier. This means you can jump, leap into the air, hold down the dash button, dash forward, and then leap again, allowing you to pull off some crazy moves and even get to high places if you're really skilled with the abilities. Utilizing these two abilities, the player can get super creative with how they want to move and get around obstacles. Each level poses a unique parkour challenge, and only by using all the player mechanics and abilities in a smart, creative way can you get through them. Before I move on, I want to address the elephant in the room, these hands. I added these two-dimensional first-person hands to spice up the gameplay. I wanted to be a bit more stylistic with these hands, to sort of separate them from the rest of the game. The reason for this is that they provide a lot of quick information to the player and let them know whether they're touching the ground, or jumping, or can jump again, or holding onto a wall, or using a certain ability. And by them having unique art style, it makes sure the player will always know what they're doing. Making these hands was a challenge in and of itself. I would use various props and hand poses, and I would take countless photos, and upon finding the picture I liked, I would bring it into Photoshop, and then sort of figure it out there. But with all things considered, I think they actually came out decent, and at the very least, they do provide the player with more information on what they're doing. Along with all these big player changes, the story and enemy development specifically has made massive progress this last month. This, as I teased in the beginning of the video, is the Darkness, the primary villain in COASTLINE. Now I won't spoil any of the story, but I will explain the Darkness's gameplay significance. The Darkness's primary form are these rectangular shapes known as disruptors. Their primary function is to slow down the player and prevent you from toying in their plans. Upon getting closer to one, you will start to experience the weight of darkness, slowing down your movement. This effect also stacks depending on how many of them are around you. They will also, upon feeling your presence, follow you and even swarm you, ultimately crippling your movement. But you are not without hope. Shadow's Bane, the great white glaive you wield in your right hand, is able to strike down darkness. By using your dash ability and flinging Shadow's Bane in front of you, you are able to shatter these dark manifestations and prevent them from suppressing your speed. To make things even more fun, upon successfully shattering these dark shapes, you regain your dash ability instantaneously, completely nullifying the need to wait for the cooldown. This allows you to weave your dashes and leaps as you go between dark shapes, smashing them, leaving their shattered pieces behind. This gameplay loop of going between levels, dodging obstacles, smashing darkness is super fun. Now there's a ton more to talk about when it comes to the darkness, but I will save that all for now and let you experience it for yourself. More on that later. The cool stuff doesn't stop there. The game also has a bunch of new music, sound effects, and even voice acting. First off, music. My good friend Clara Muse has been making a bunch of music specifically for Coastline. I am super thankful for his help, and please go check out his channel. He is very talented and criminally undersubbed. Big thanks to him for all his help. Secondly, me and another good friend of mine have been voice acting and making a ton of fun sound effects for the game. Making sound effects for a video game is one of those super weird things. It is extremely fun, but also really weird. Here are all the objects that we used to actually make the sounds in the game. And all things considered, they came out pretty good. But we didn't stop there. I did mention we did voice acting. The story in this game is pretty prominent, and thus characters need to be voice acted, so my friend was also able to help me with that. Again, I won't spoil any of the story, but here's a sample that we were able to put together for one of the first characters you meet.
What do we have here? Fresh blood.
Coastline is fast approaching a stable and player-ready state, and as such, I want to let everyone try it out for themselves. So I'd like to announce that in July, Coastline will be going up on Steam and itch.io as a playable demo. This demo will have everything I've made up to the game so far, the first 3 levels, and all the story content that goes along with them. I will continue to make updates on the project as we get closer and closer to July. And yeah, wow, that's pretty much everything. Another great month for development on Coastline. And with that said, this has been another Devlog. I've been Funky Armor, and you've been a fantastic audience. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, thank you.